The galaxy had grown quiet around thieges of the Empire's territory. Worlds that once held life were nowslant. Stripped of resources and hope, the Empire believed no one could ever challenge them again. Their fleet stretched across the stars, and their commanders felt proud and fearless. One day, a discovery changed everything. A team of Imperial researchers found an old star map hidden inside a forgotten archive. It showed a small blue planet marked with the ancient word Earth. Most officers in the Empire had never heard that name before. The few who did only remembered stories. Stories that humansons spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Stories of a species thought fought like demons and built machinesta, scared even the bravest warriors. But those stories were old, almost myths now. The Empire believed humanity was gone forever. So when they studied the map and scanned the planet, they saw Napor readings, no life signals, no apons. Earth looked abandoned in wake, like a dead world frozen in time. A perfect target. Grand Admiral Vokar did a full fleet to move toward Theplanet immediately. He wanted minerals, technology, and a new base close to the galactic edge. He expected no trouble. After all, humans had disappeared centuries ago. A young alien, officer named Lion, stood beside him on Thecaman Bridge. He was quiet, thoughtful, and far more cautious than others. While everyone else laughed at the idea of humanity, Land stared at an image of Earth on the screen. Something about the planet bothered him. Admiral Land said softly, "Earth feels different." Volker laughed, shaking his head. "Different. It is a dead rock. If Fumons were really as powerful as the old stories say, they would still be here." Lion nodded, but doubt sat heavy in his mind. The fleet approached the solar system. Thousands of ships surrounded the dark void like a metal storm. Dreadnoughts, destroyers, carriers, and scouts, all armed to the teeth, confident in their dominance. As they passed Jupiter, their scanners swept the system. Nothing, not even a weak signal. But the closer they came to Earth, the stranger the scanner readings become. Lines of static appeared, signals bent strangely. Some data packets came back corrupted. This had never happened before. Probably just old satellites, the engineers said, or radiation from the sun, others added. Everyone had an excuse. Everyone except Lan. When the blue planet finally came into view, the fleet slowed down. Earth floated quietly, peaceful and untouched. Clouds curled gently around its surface. The oceans glowed deep blue. The land looked overgrown and wild. It did not look dead. It looked asleep. The Empire sent small scout ships first. They moved close to the planet, scanning forests, mountains, and oceans. They found no cities, no heat signatures, no technology. Everything looked abandoned, but one detail stood out. There were massive metallic shapes buried under the ground, so large that scanners could not completely map them. "What are those structures?" Lan asked. "Probably old bunkers," the authors replied, but Lan felt cold as hell looked at them. The metallic shapes were too big, too perfect, too organized. They stretched for miles under the surface. It looked like some ginormous was sleeping under Earth's crust. Suddenly, the scout ships experienced a strange pulse, an energy wave so faint it almost went unnoticed. The pilots reported hearing a low sound like a deep, heartbeat echoing through space. The Empire dismissed it again. Glitched instruments. Ignore it. The fleet moved into full formation, preparing to descend toward the planet. Fighters armed their weapons. Battleships powered up their cannons. Grand Admiral Vokar smiled, imagining how quickly they would take over. Butlian kept staring at Earth, unable to shake the feeling that something ancient was watching them from below. He whispered to himself, "Humans are yorily gone?" And as if the planet Hardim, the ground beneath a massive acontent, trembled. A crack of golden light appeared. Dust rose miles high. Sensors across the fleet spiked and glowed red. The Empire froze in confusion. Then came a second pulse, stronger, clearer, unmistakable. Earth was not silent. Earth was waking up. The pulse that shook the Empire rescuers did not fade. It grew stronger, slowly, steadily, like a giant creature stretching, after a long sleep. Alarms began to flash across every ship in Thefleet, but no one understood what they were seeing. The Empire had conquered hundreds of worlds, but none had ever produced a signal like this. Inside Theft flagship, Grand Admiral Volker stood tall, pretending to look calm. But Evan could feel the tension slipping through the air like cold smoke. "Report," Volker commanded. "Sir, the energy is coming from underground," a technician replied, voice shaking. "Very deeper than any human structure should exist." Laurent stepped forward. His heart pounded, but not from fear. Something else. Something like knowing truth before hearing it. "It is not a bunker," he said quietly. "It is a machine." The whole bridge fell silent. A machine that big under Earth, still alive. It made no sense. But the planet answered before anyone could argue. The surface of Earth tore open. A tower off golden light erupted upward like a burning sunrise. Clouds exploded outward in shockwaves pushed the oceans back. The entire fleet watched as something metallic, something impossibly huge, rose from beneath the planet's crust. At first, only the outline was visible through the glowing dust. Colossal plates of ancient armor lifted into the sky. Gigantic engines, silent for centuries, flickered with blue light. Carved into the hull were human symbols, sharp, old, unreadable, but still alive with energy. The Empire had expected a dead world. What they saw instead was a human titan built, not for defense, but for war. The machine was older than the Empire. It was older than most civilizations still alive. It had been buried during the age when humanity ruled the stars, a time the galaxy treed, hard to erase from memory. But humans had not erased anything. They had only hidden it. The Titan fully broke free from the ground and rose into space, its shadow covering the horizon. Its eyes, two long vertical strips of white light, opened slowly. Every sensor on the fleet crashed at once. Every comm signal burned to static. Every alien heart froze. The machine spoke. Its voice was deep, calm, and terrifying, as if it had been rehearsing a single sentence for thousands of years. "Human Guardian Line. Identifying threats." The Empire panicked instantly. "What do we do?" Officer shouted. "Fire. Take it down before it targets us." "Oh no, wait. It might not." But the Titan already made its decision. The machine scanned the fleet. Thousands of red dots lit up across its holographic display. Every Imperial ship labeled hostile. Its core brightened. The space around it been like glass under heat. Lion stared at the glowing sphere building in its center. His breath caught in his throat. "This is not a weapon," he whispered. "This is a warning." The technicians around him could not even speak. Their screens turned white, their instruments overloaded. The only thing they could do was watch. The Titan raised its arms. Massive cannons built into both sides of its body, pointing them straight at the Empire's formation. A silence swept through space. A silence so completed it, even engines seemed to stop breathing. And then a beam fired. It didn't roar. It did not thunder. It simply appeared. A straight column of pure white light stretching from the Titan tough far end of the fleet. Ships did not explode. They did not burn. They simply disappeared, a cold dust swept away by wind. In 1 second, an entire wing of the Empire's Navy was gone. Grand Admiral Volker stumbled back, eyes wide, unable to speak. He had commanded fleets all his life, but he had never seen a weapon erase hundreds of ships with no sound, no motion, no resistance. Only Lan understood what had happened. He whispered, "This is just the first shot." The Titan lowered its arm, the light fading slowly from its core. Thenot's voice echoed again across space. "Threat level confirmed. Preparing cleansing protocol." Lyrian felt cold inside. He knew what came next. The Empire had awakened something they could not kill and could not escape. Earth's guardian was no longer sleeping, and nothing in the galaxy could stop what it was about to do. The Empire's fleet had never known fear, not real fear. They had crushed rebellions, burned worlds, and erased civilizations. Every officer believed their ships were unbeatable, their weapons unmatched. But now, Under the cold glow of the human guardian, they finally understood what true danger felt like. The Titan floated silently above Earth, its armor glowing with old energy. It did not move wildly or act like a monster. It moved. Slowly, calmly, with the confidence of something that had never lost a war. Grand Admiral Vokar tried to force strength into his voice. All ships regroup and fire at will. His words hook and everyone heard the fear. Hetried to hide. The first line aft destroyers moved forward, engines burning bright. They opened fire. Laser cannons, missiles, plasma shells, everything. The space around the Guardian lit with thousands of deadly colors. But not a single attack to shed Titan. The machine generated a shimmering barrier, bending every shot away like soft rain hitting a steel roof. Beams curved around it and vanished into space. Missiles lost their lock and drifted uselessly. Plasma bursts dimmed before touching its armor. It was not defending itself. It was simply ignoring them. Laran watched in disbelief. This is wrong. We are fighting something do not understand. But the Gordiander st everything. Its second attack began. Without warning, dozens of small objects detached from its back. Spherical drones, smooth and silver. They spread out like a silent swarm. No engine heat, no visible thrusters, just cold. Perfect movement. The drones locked onto the nearest cruisers. One moment the cruisers were intact. The next moment they were gone. Not destroyed, not broken, just gone. Volker leaned over the display, horrified. Where are they going? Unknown, a technician whispered, barely breathing. It is like they were erased. More drones moved. More ships vanished. Even this surviving crews began screaming into Thecoms, their voices shaking with terror. It is inside the system. It is inside our computers. We cannot target it. Our weapons are dead. The drones are no. Then silence. Every ship touched by the drones desappered from the battle. The Guardian turned slightly, facing their remaining bulk of the fleet. Its core brightened again. Every Imperial ship felt the air go thin, like something huge was breathing in. Lang grabbed the edge of a console. Everyone needs to retreat now, but no one could run. The Guardian had already locked the fleet inside its energy field. Space bent around them like a closed cage. The Empire's armada, the pride of 1,000 worlds, was trapped. The Titan lifted its arm again, and this time, thousands of small white stars sippered around it. The stars pulsed, growing brighter and brighter. No one understood what they were until they exploded. Each tiny star burst outward, releasing silent shock waves that sliced through ship hulls like glass. Entire battle formations broke apart in seconds. Dreadnoughts split in half. Engines melted. Bridges shattered. Gnaw screams made it through comes. It was too fast, too clean, too absolute. The Empire's fleet was dying without fire, without smoke, without even sound. It was being erased. The Guardian then extended its other arm. A new symboloed across its chest, an old human crest, sharp and angular. The Titan spoke again, voice shaking the very air. Cleansing protocol, 87% complete. Grand Admiral Volker collapsed into his chair. His pride, his power, his entire life was reduced to nothing in a single minute. How? How did humans build this? He whispered. Land did not look away from the Titan. It was never meant to conquer, he said. It was meant to protect. We walked straight into its duty. The Guardian prepared its final strike. A halo of light maybe hinted it bright, growing, endless. The less ships braced for impact. The Empire's greatest armada, Finlandersti. Humanity's silence had never been weakness. It had been a warning, and now the warning had become judgment. Thephanal blasts from the Guardian never came. Not immediately. Instead, the Titan held its position, glowing like a white sun above the shattered remains of the Empire's invincible fleet. The last Imperial ships drifted helplessly, engines dead, weapons offline, hope fading. A deep silence spread across the battlefield, a silence so heavy that even the void felt alive. For the first time in centuries, the Empire faced something stronger than itself. Their fleets had served supernovas, black holes, ancient beasts, and rival empires. Awoke could not survive humanity's forgant creation. On the flagship, Grand Admiral Volker stared blankly at the screen. His hands shook, his confidence, ironed for decades, had melted into fear. "It is unstoppable," he whispered. No one disagreed, but Lion did not look broken like Theodor's. His fear had changed into something else. Respect, maybe even admiration. "This machine," Lion said softly, "was built not for war, but for guardianship." Humans did not create monsters. They built protectors. The Guardian turned slowly, scanning Thurin fleet. Its voice echoed once simmer, calm and emotionless. Hostile actions neutralized. Searching for human life signs. The crew froze. Human life signs. Volker leaned forward, eyes wide. Is it looking for humans? Are humans alive?" No one answered. They had no idea, but the galaxy did. The Guardian's final pulsescent, a shockwave of data across Thesters, an ancient signal, a forgotten frequency. It passed through Hyperlane's communication towers, pirate relays, memory satellites, and forgotten outposts. Every species heard the same message. Guardian online. Humanity restoration protocol initiated, and suddenly, the galaxy remembered the truth they had tried to bury. Humanity did not fall. Humanity simply stepped away. Across distant systems, old human colonies, long thought dead or scattered, received the signal. On a dusty mining world, a young human girl looked up from her work as her Ristavus glowed for the first time in her life. On a hidden station, a group of Fuman refugees stared at each other, hearts racing. On a quiet forest moon, a human elder whispered, "The call, it has finally returned." Wherever humans had been hiding, surviving, or rebuilding, the message reached them. Return home, the galaxy shook. But reactions were not the same everywhere. Some alien races trembled in fear. Remembering old stories of human warriors and impossible machines, others saw hope. Recalling that human shad once protected the weak and fought injustice without fear. The Empire, however, was broken. Their entire armada, 10,000 ships destroyed in minutes. Their pride shattered, their power lost. But the Guardian still didn't attack the last surviving Imperial ships. Instead, it turned away, framed them, facing the stars. It was not a weapon of revenge. It was a beacon. Slowly, the Titan lowered toward Earth again, settling back into orbit as gently as a giant laying down to rest. Its enormous cannons dimmed. The glowing lights along its armor sank in tassellands. But this time, it did not return underground. It stayed awake. Its core pulsed in soft white waves, sending a single repeating mesh into the dark. "Humanity, come home." Lion watched with wide eyes. He felt something strange in his chest. Relief, respect, even hope. "Humans are not extinct," he whispered. Volker shook his head, defeated. "If they return, the galaxy will never be the same." Lan looked at Earth, glowing blue and steady. "Maybe that is a good thing," he said, "because deep beneath Earth's oceans, mountains, deserts, and cities, other Mackens began to wake as well. Older ones, larger ones, machines that had slept forages, waiting only for the Guardian signal." The ground trembled softly, lights flickered, systems rebooted. Humanity's age was not over. It was beginning again. And the galaxy, whether afraid or hopeful, couldn't prepare for the moment when humans finally opened their eyes and stepped back into the stars.